Hey, how you doing? I got a question. So, in your life, do you get tossed to and fro wherever the wind takes you? And do you get what life just hands you? Or are you in control where you can manifest what you want? Okay, so if you're not be able to manifest what you want, I have 9 steps that I'm going to go through that I believe will help you to manifest the things that you want in your life. So let's get right into it and let's look at these 9 steps. So here are my 9 steps to manifesting what you want. So let's look at step number 1, which is define clearly and do not be vague. This is very important. So if you think you want something, it's no good just to say, I want such and such a thing, right? You've got to define very clearly what that thing is, and do not be vague about it either. Be very specific. The next thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, why do you want it? If you do not have a strong enough reason why, then you're going to disempower your ability to manifest it. You must have a very strong reason why. Now, the next step I need to tell you, very important. You need to ask yourself, what are the consequences of not having it? Now, it's important to ask yourself this at the very early stage and just have it in your mind, but I don't want you to ponder it throughout the manifestation process, because if you fear not having the thing that you desire to manifest, then you are going to achieve the opposite outcome, because fear will attract you to not achieve your desired goal, right? So fear must have no part of this, but I want you to think of the consequences of not achieving it in order to motivate you to go through with the following steps. Okay, so let's look at step 3, which is believe. Okay, so in order for you to manifest this, you need to believe it, right? You really need to believe it. It's essential for, the visualization that we're going to talk about in a minute. And, it's just a commonly known fact that you need to believe it in order to achieve it, right? There's many inspirational sayings that will tell you that, believe it and achieve it, okay? So how do you believe something, right? Can you force yourself to believe something? Well, no, you need to maybe work at believing it. And in order to carry out that work, you need to do some investigation, gain knowledge of how to achieve it, okay? So if you arm yourself with knowledge, and also, have you seen others achieve it? If you want something that you've never seen, like if you want a unicorn to appear in your back garden, then chances are you're not going to believe it, because you've never seen it before. So have you seen it? Has others done it? Okay. So the next step, step 4, is start looking for supporting evidence that it's on its way to manifesting. So now, as you're beginning to wait for the manifestation of the thing that you desire, you're going to, now this is actually going to happen on a subconscious level, because when we determine in our minds that we want something, our mind acts as a radar, and you are going to start noticing things that you didn't previously notice, right? You're going to look for supporting evidence that the thing that you desire to manifest is indeed coming together and manifesting in your life. And that's very encouraging and very important that you notice that evidence. Okay, so step 5, so important, is self-talk. All right, we cannot be lazy and desire something and expect it to turn up. We spend all day, every waking hour, and not even then, but even when you're asleep in your dream state, we are self-talking, right? There's dialogue in our minds. Okay, so that dialogue is just relentless, non-stop. Okay, now the question is, are you like the wind, tossed to and fro and allow your thoughts to happen, right? And control your life and determine your life, and your self-talk result out of your fears and your negativity? Or are you going to, harness this self-talk and direct it in the way that you want it to go, right? If we're going to self-talk anyway, we might as well self-talk empowering, positive things that bring us the things that we want in our lives. So you need to do some positive affirmations, and I think I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Okay, so let's move on to step 6, which is study those who already have it. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier. If someone has already got this thing, okay, then you know that it's possible. So it enables you to believe. Okay, so what you do is you study the people that already have this thing that you desire to have. Now, when I say this thing, I'm talking about, it might be a material thing, right? You may desire a house or a car or a physical, tangible thing. It may be that you want to achieve something that is non-tangible, like an achievement, right? But whatever it is, right, you need to study those who already have achieved your goal. And when you do that, you need to really, if they've done it, then you need to get into their heads. You need to get into their lives, metaphorically, not in a creepy way, okay, but adopt their posture, because, posture is very powerful, and probably their posture was instrumental in achieving what they achieved, right? Did I spell posture right? Doesn't look right. I think I might have a spelling error in one of my slides, so I apologize. It might be right. Maybe I'm being paranoid. But anyway, adopt their posture, right? How do they move? How do they carry themselves? How do they conduct themselves? All right, go where they go. Okay, so you know what? Like maybe you aspire to be like a rich person. You may. Now, if that's the case, right? Do they go and sit in a shabby restaurant? Eating cheap, nasty food, or do they go somewhere prestigious and fancy? Well, you go there. You can go there too. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be a rich person to go and eat where they eat, to go and hang out where they hang out. Some of the things, okay, you might not be able to fly first class, but there's a lot of places you can go the same as where they go. Go where they go. Carry yourself the way that they carry themselves. And I'm talking about rich people, but this can apply to anything. You need to interpret this and apply it in the way that is relevant to you, okay? And live how they live, or at least imagine it. If you can't live in the way currently that the people that you aspire to be like are living their lives, at least imagine it. Imagine scenarios in your mind, spend a little time every day in meditation, and imagine yourself living the life, okay? That's important. Okay, so let's move on to step 7. So step 7, live as though you already have it. Yeah, well, that really ties in very closely with my last point, so we'll not talk too much about this. In my last point, I was talking about doing the things that the people who have already achieved it are doing. You need to live your life as though you already have it. Now, this is a mind trick, okay? So what you're doing is you are convincing yourself, it's like the old saying, fake it until you make it. You're convincing yourself that you already have it. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be a lunatic, you're nutter, and like, look, make a complete spectacle of yourself. You don't have to, others do not have to see you pretending and faking, okay? And I don't recommend that you do that because you're going to look stupid, okay? But I'm talking about, this is your private thoughts. This is your private, inward, inner being that we're talking about. And I want you to live as though you've already achieved it. When you're walking along the sidewalk or the pavement, if whether you're UK or US, right? You carry yourself differently. You just like have a slightly different demeanor and mannerism in your daily life, because you're living as though that thing has manifested in your life, okay? All right, now let's move on to step 8. Celebrate as though you already have it. Okay, now again, I'm not talking about making a spectacle of yourself and, kind of putting on a celebration and inviting your friends and family to celebrate that you've just bought, the latest Ferrari, okay, when they know damn well that you don't, that would be stupid. But I'm talking about celebrate inwardly, give yourself an inward pat on the back, yeah? I'm talking about hug yourself, like give yourself a high five. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you're celebrating as though you already have it. That's very important. It's very important. This is all like tricks on yourself, right? You're not fooling and deceiving other people. You're tricking yourself, okay? All right, so failure is feedback. Step 9. This is really important. Okay, this is the final step. Okay, so failure is feedback. Now, when we fail, it's very easy, if we're not in control of our emotions, that we are going to get downbeat and we're going to get like really disempowered and give up. Okay, but not if you have the right mindset. If you see failure as feedback, you're gonna assess your failure, and you're gonna identify what you did in order to bring about that failure, and you're going to tweak some of your behaviors. You're going to tweak some of your techniques, and you're going to try it again. You may fail again, but maybe you failed for a different reason, and it's continuous tweaking, right? So emotion is a big part of manifesting. We've talked about this, where you do the celebration and you do the visualization, and you're going through all these steps that we've just discussed. And emotion is a major tool, but we're using emotion as a tool. That's what it is. But when it comes to failure, and when it comes to technique in manifesting, we need to also put on the hat of a scientific, rational mindset, right? So that's why we're going to see failure as feedback. We're going to think rationally about it. We're not going to allow emotion to get in the way, but we're going to tweak whatever it is that we need to tweak. And we may not get it right the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time. We're going to keep doing it. I'm in business and I do this all the time, and I could easily just come out of business and go get myself a job, if I allowed my emotion to, overtake me in my times of failure. Yeah. Okay. So that is my 9 steps of manifesting. Now, I thought I was going to talk about positive affirmations, but you know what? That will make a really good next video. But I'll tell you one thing. There is one thing I'm trying to manifest, and maybe you guys can help me to manifest this, right? So I'm going to put it out there, right? So this is just a small manifestation that I'm trying to get. So, my Facebook page, my YouTube channel for Energy Vampires is new. I'm going to do a lot of content. I do a lot of kind of epistemology, philosophy, science and religion, and just talk about the spiritual, do a whole bunch of stuff, all centered around energy vampires from heaven. It's a large subject, but it's very interesting stuff. I do a lot of content, and I'm trying to get my subscribers on YouTube up to 100. Okay, so at the moment I'm very, very low because I'm just starting out. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. I'm trying to manifest that. So do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, help me to achieve that. I'd be very grateful. With or without your help, I will achieve it, because I do this 9 steps of manifestation, and I'm going to with or without you. But I'd be very grateful if you hit that subscribe button, and then you'll get notified every time I upload new content. Thank you very much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.